Hey friends, it's Mallie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a word for you guys, and it is going to be in Matthew 14:27. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a backstory first. So at this time, all of Jesus' disciples are in a boat, and there comes a storm, and the disciples start to get a little bit scared. And at that time, they look out on the water, and a figure is coming towards them, walking on the water. And they start to think, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. Well, as it comes closer, they realize it is Jesus. So we're going to pick up in verse 27. It says, "Then Jesus said, 'Be brave and don't be afraid, for I am here.' Peter shouted out, 'Lord, if it is really you, you will have me join you on the water.' And Jesus replied, 'Come and join me.' So Peter stepped out onto the water and began to walk towards Jesus. But when he realized how high the waves were, he became frightened and started to sink. 'Save me, Lord,' he cried out. Jesus immediately stretched out his hand and lifted him up and said, 'What little faith you have! Why would you let your doubt win?' And at that very moment, they both stepped into the boat, and the raging wind ceased. Then all of the disciples crouched down before him and started to worship Jesus." Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in this story. So first, whenever the disciples realize it's Jesus, Peter gets so excited to see Jesus walking on the water that he says, "Lord, let me join you." So he's so excited, and God calls him, "You can come out here with me." So he steps out into something that is in the unknown. No one he knows has ever walked on water. That's just not possible. But Jesus calls him, so he does. He steps out, takes a leap of faith, and starts walking on the water. And then he loses sight of Jesus' gaze, and he starts to look around with his natural eyes of the situation he's in, and then he starts to sink. So I think that really is like prophetic of what can go on in our lives. Whenever Jesus calls us out to do something that no one else is doing, we take a leap of faith. We can quit our job, lose our friends, just anything that Jesus is calling you out of. Whenever we take that step that Jesus has called us to do, but if we lose our gaze with Jesus, then we can start to sink. If we start looking with our natural eyes of the circumstances and the situation we're in, then we lose sight of Jesus, and that's whenever we start to sink. So where I'm going with this is when Jesus calls you out, when he wants you to go out and do something for him, when he tells you something to go do, you have to keep your gaze on him, or else you lose focus and you start to look with your natural eyes of your situation, of your circumstance. So I encourage you guys, do not let your gaze slip from Jesus' eyes, because then you start to look at your circumstances, and then that gets the better of you. So the next part I like in this verse is whenever Jesus had pulled him up and said, "What little faith you have. Why would you let your doubt win?" So Jesus is saying, why are you doubting me? You knew that I called you out. I said, you can walk on the water. Come to me. Why are you doubting that? And so I think that's just kind of like whenever we start to question in our life, because I've had times in my life whenever I'll be like, Jesus, why did you call me to do this? Like, I'm going to get made fun of. I'm going to lose friends and all that stuff. And then Jesus says, why are you doubting me? If you do what I say, I will provide the rest. And so I feel like that's what Jesus was saying. He was saying, why are you doubting me? I told you to come out and join me, and you should trust that I wasn't going to let you fall. So the next part, it says, whenever they get back into the boat, the storm ceases. And I thought that was so cool that even though Peter had doubted Jesus, he still calmed the storm. And so I just really loved that verse. I was reading it the other day, and I really wanted to do a video about it with you guys. So I just encourage you one more time, don't let your eyes slip from Jesus' gaze. Don't look at your circumstances. If he calls you out of somewhere, he will provide for you. I hope that encouraged you guys, and I'll see you guys later.